Hi, we're 3 months out from 2020, the original target date for removing deforestation for so many supply chains. The Tropical Forest Alliance exists for us to all learn how we work together and how we can actually achieve more progress by working together. The last decade, there's been a lot of individual action. If we're going to drive more progress over the next decade, we've got to take more collective action. So we've kicked off a process for what that collective action agenda could be. Meridian is helping coordinate that. Climate Focus, WRI, are doing a lot of the analytics about what's worked, what hasn't worked in the last decade. But we need to hear from all of you. This is our community's agenda, not just individual organizations, but we want to pull all of our voices together to really learn what's worked, what hasn't worked. So I'm now going to hand over to Climate Focus and Meridian for them to tell you how you can contribute.
Through our assessment, Climate Focus is aiming to tell the story of what has worked and what is not working in the supply chain movement. We know that many companies have taken ambitious commitments to reduce and end deforestation in their supply chain. And we know that many companies have moved to implement their commitments through certification and working with their suppliers. We also know that companies work towards increasing transparency in supply chains, and an increasing number of corporations is engaging in a dialogue with governments to strengthen and clarify land use regulations. What we don't know is where and when these actions have actually reduced deforestation, when they haven't, and why. And this is what we would like to understand better as we move as a community to formulate a post-2020 action agenda. We cannot afford to continue to invest in actions that don't work. So we are looking to identify the actions that reduce deforestation and the conditions that enable corporations to successfully implement their commitments. And this not only in current hotspots of deforestation, but also in less understood frontiers of deforestation, such as the Cerrado in the north of Brazil, the Papua province of Indonesia, Colombia and Peru, and the Congo Basin. So that is what we want to know from you. Based on your work and experience, what actions of companies you see succeeding in reducing deforestation, and where do they fail?
Our role is to help the working group through soliciting broad stakeholder input into this process. We're conducting a set of interviews across the community with representatives who have experience in this space from all of the relevant sectors. And therefore, we really welcome through this webinar the opportunity to solicit your input. The work of developing the action agenda is really, as I mentioned, meant to be a collective effort. So we need your input really in two primary areas that we would love to solicit your thinking about via this opportunity. One, we would love to hear about success stories, areas where you think good progress has been made, that your organization or groups of organizations that you work with have been able to accomplish in the past decade in this work on commodity supply chains and reducing deforestation. And we also would like to hear ways in which you can, through your organization, engage with others to really put the collective effort forward that's going to be necessary to make a difference in this space.
So you've heard from our colleagues as to how you can contribute to the process. I simply want to end with a thank you for listening, but mostly an encouragement for please now take the time to contribute. If we're going to be successful at reversing deforestation, we are only going to do it by working together in better ways. That means you've all got to lean in. Your voice has to be heard. Our responsibility is to incorporate that and include your voice. But please now take the time. We look forward to working with all of you over the next few months and really launching into 2020 with a much more purposeful and collective and inclusive agenda for success.